So talking about comp. So what's your philosophy? Sounds like you're happy to do kind of incentive based, happy to pay more, kind of want high producers.
Yeah. So one of the things, maybe 6 months ago, we did a very deep study on our compensation model, how it ties not only to revenue and cash coming in, but also the lifetime value of the customer and where we need to be in terms of customer acquisition costs relative to lifetime value. And what we really found out is that we should be willing to pay more, and not in a linear fashion, more exponentially, for AEs that can bring in significantly more revenue. And the other thing we found is that it matters a lot in terms of who the person is. Some people bring in a lot more business, and an amazing salesperson can sometimes bring in twice an average, right? But the value the company gets out of it can often be significantly more than a linear sales model, right? So what we decided to do is say, hey, we want only AEs who are bringing in a ton, right? We don't want a ton of AEs bringing in a little. We'd rather have less bringing in a lot more, because it works out economically better for the company, and we're willing to pay them more than we would otherwise in kind of a linear compensation model. So what we did, we made it more aggressive, where they actually make less on the downside, but they make significantly more on the upside, and their commission rate accelerates as they hit quota, and then it continues every couple thousand ARR. And on the high end, it gets pretty ridiculous, I would admit. But for us, my camera
says check the battery pack.
Yeah, sorry, I'll switch cameras.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, all right,
but for us, so they make significantly higher on the upside. But for us, it's worth it in terms of ROI, having people make way above quota than people hitting way below. And so that's our philosophy. And that's what we're pushing for.
Awesome. That's great. I mean, it's amazing too that you have such a strong inbound, inbound lead engine, for them to go after as well. So very, very cool. So how do you get all those inbound leads? Are there kind of one or two things that kind of really bring that in?
So it's interesting because for us, we've looked at this very, very closely, and when you use an automatic lead source capturing tool, such as even Google Analytics, what it tells you is not really the truth. Because, for example, let's say someone watches your podcast, searches you, company on Google, comes in, signs up, your lead attribution software will tell you it's an organic search. But the reality is it's not. They came from your podcast. And for us, people come from our YouTube videos. They come from other people's podcasts. They come from word of mouth, whatever. And so we say, we have a form that says, how did you hear about us? People fill that in. And some of the things people fill in, we would have never known. We were like, we don't even know people are finding us through that. And otherwise would have just said Google. So people are finding us in a ton of different ways. A lot of it is word of mouth and finding us online on G2 or something like that. They come in, they fill out a form. But our leads, what we consider an MQL, is someone who is explicitly saying, I want to learn more about the software, either through a trial or demo. And then we pull them in. We have our BDRs who work the inbound lead. We try and get on them like this. Like as soon as they come in, they're calling them, they're qualifying them, and then they're routing them to the right person for a demo. And a big focus for us is how do we get them, well, not only on the phone immediately, because previously we were even sometimes only hitting them like a day later. So we closed that gap significantly. But the other part was getting them on a demo sooner rather than later, because that impacts, because our sales cycle is pretty quick. I think it's under 10 days.
Wow.
So the timing matters, because they also might be looking at competitors. And
Right.
in the past, we sometimes found that a customer will sign up with a competitor before they even get to our demo that they had booked. And so the timing really matters. And so we really try to accelerate the whole process to increase our closing rate.
Wow. Very, very cool. And we have Phone Ready Leads as our sponsor today. Are there issues in actually getting people on the phone?
Well, I think you always do, but and we love to increase our connect rate. But one of the interesting parts of our industry is that they get their customers from their phone,
Right.
and so they answer the phone. But then from there, you're often talking to a gatekeeper, which would be the office admin who's fielding their customer calls. So then you have to navigate that. But you do get decent connect rates. Then it's a matter of how you get in through the door. But sometimes you call them at a really bad time, and they'll be like, yeah, I'm on the roof right now. Not the best time to talk. But yeah, I mean, you can always do better. And one thing we want to look at is how do you kind of amplify the number of dials and connects through something like Phone Ready Leads, right?
There you go. So do you offer, as part of your software SaaS, help in helping the clients, your customers, with their lead gen?
So yes and no. We have some things around that, and we ingest lead gen and help them manage it. And we have a booking portal that they can embed in their website. What we don't want to get into is the contractor customer matching service, like Home Advisor, Thumbtack, that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
We do not want to get in the middle of that. That can be a tough business.
But you could offer, I'm just thinking here, so we got some great industry brains here, but between kind of Justin, Jesse, and actually Jesse, could probably come up with something where you have that as an offering. So you kind of have your current value prop, but you say also, you go to them and say, hey, if we can help you, get more leads, right? There's a whole, in terms of their, proactive, reach outs, because most of them are awful at, if you want to call it, advertising or lead gen. That would be interesting as well.
Yeah, no, I think approach like that, as long as it's not kind of those contractor matching with customer service, but more just straight up lead gen, that's significantly more interesting.
Hey, we'll offer that. Yeah, that'd be. So I also want to give credit here. So Jesse said it's been a fascinating interview. Totally agree. Amazing business here that you've built up, and it's just. You think, okay, what other companies, what other ideas are out there that can be created, right? Where you're going after a blue collar, niche, nascent kind of market, leveraging technology, right, in such a great way, but kind of really improving them are just fantastic. And then,
what's really interesting on that is that there's a lot of private equity and growth equity that is very focused on vertical SaaS solutions, and they specifically look for industries that had not been kind of adapted to technology yet, and go after them. And so sometimes the TAM can be limited because you're not as horizontal.
Right.
But if you can make something very specific to the workflow of that business, and charge a premium for that and get really deep into that market, it can be great as well. And so there's a lot of PE starting to focus more and more and more on that. Which is similar to ours. I mean, we play in different industries within field service, but vertical SaaS and industries that do not really have great technology is a great segment to go into.
Yeah, maybe you have to tell your dad to have Capri Ventures go after some niche roll-ups in the service sector.
Oh yeah, no, it's funny. And then PE is also getting into more and more who our customers are, HVAC companies. I see a lot of them buying them, rolling them up, getting economies of scale because they're traditionally very small companies relative, and they're leveraging that. And it's interesting to see.
Yeah, so cool. So there's probably within kind of the different niches, whether it's a pool service or landscaping or handyman or break fix for your appliances, kind of, different kind of niches like that, there must be roll-ups that are happening within each of those segments. And for those that are doing the roll-ups, then are you kind of working with them and partnering with them to then, help them have their companies be more efficient?
So that's interesting, because we talked a little bit about that. Because like, wow, it's really starting to accelerate. I wonder if we want to start building something even more catered towards that. We have tools that let them manage like multiple accounts at once. They can jump between accounts and keep them separate, or franchise locations, stuff like that. We haven't gone deep enough in that, but it is something we talked about. If there's something that we can develop even more specifically for them to manage that. I wouldn't say I'm totally for all the roll-ups that are happening, but it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
So
it's a train going down the track. Yeah, you're not going to stop. So we have also then, let's see, besides the other Jesse says, wow, 10 days. I mean, it's awesome from a sales cycle. I mean, how exciting and rewarding for sales teams for sure. And then she also says, let's go phone ready leads. Ryan Research is great. And Ryan, of course, says, I am Ryan and I approve this message. So pretty good of them. So just, again, really cool business. That's fantastic. So what about maybe advice that you've received along the way from kind of any mentors or kind of outside people like that? Is there any kind of one thing in particular that stands out?
There's a lot, and it depends on what lens you're looking at, whether it's like a founder, CEO, or sales. Is there one category more specifically?
No, just anything you look back the last, 10, 20 years. Hey, somebody told me this and it has really stuck with me.
Yeah, I really think, especially as you grow, for me, you have to get the right people in place. And the recruiting, interviewing, everything process of finding the right people to take you to that next level is the most critical aspect. And it's very easy to bring in the wrong people. But focusing on getting the right people, I think, will get you there. And a lot of people, you have to learn that from making the mistake. I've had to do that. But we have some people in the company that are hiring for positions that have really never hired before. And so one thing I keep telling them is like, trust me, make sure you're getting the right person. You think they might all look the same, but they're not when you're interviewing. Really spend the time to make sure, because the impact of the wrong person can really set you back a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And from a training perspective, I would imagine kind of everything that you're doing is pretty much all in-house, right? Yeah.
So when a new salesperson comes on, they go through extensive training period with our sales manager and CRO. Where not only are they learning more the industry, our software, but also how we position things, how we sell, and really get them going. And some people come in and they want to start selling immediately. Sometimes we have to slow them down a bit. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's also some of it is a learning curve in just how vast our platform is and being able to be an expert in that. But yeah, the training is important as you can imagine anywhere, and really getting people selling the same way. And the other reality is that salespeople might have been successful selling a certain way somewhere, but it might not work the same in a new company, in a new market, in a new product. And so a lot of it is just how have successful people in this role sold, and learning from them and tweaking your approach to that. Because you can sometimes bring in the most amazing salesperson, but it's a little bit different and they have to learn and adapt to it. So.
Yeah, totally. There's a company, Sandler, that's been around forever. Yeah, you may be too small for them, but I'm thinking there's sales training, there's the hiring training, and I don't know, but they might have some maybe niche or online things that could be worthwhile for you. And then on the kind of also from other examples of kind of sales leaders you respect when we were prepping, you're saying Josh Brown is somebody that you kind of follow and have learned some tidbits from.
Yeah, on LinkedIn, he's one that I follow, and he brings these little anecdotes. He kind of relates them to just everyday life. The funny ones are when he brings in like how a waiter presented something to him as a sales opportunity.
Right.
But at the end of the day, there's a lot of sales in different capacities. Even if you're a waiter taking orders, oftentimes they're still selling. They're upselling. They're showcasing what is their favorite, their best, and a lot of it, I think,
or the special of the day where they get an extra, $5 for every lobster that they sell, right?
Yeah, it's funny, and the funny part is I'm starting to pick up more on those now in the last couple of years. As the way I'm like, okay, I can tell they're selling now.
Yeah, sometimes we'll be at a restaurant. It's like, do you get a bonus on? Yeah, what do you get a bonus on? I'm like, okay, I'll order that. So then, just wrapping up here. Thanks for the engagement. So, see, Tom, if you can answer quickly. Tom Adams says, have you engaged in the franchise management with franchise management companies?
Yeah, and we're working on some right now. They're an interesting model because some of them want to act as one. Some of them want to kind of distribute down to the individual companies and then have it kind of roll up in reporting. I would say in general, it's kind of newer for us, but something we're starting to get into more and more. But yeah, it for us obviously increases our deal size and where we get into that 50, 100, 200, 400K territory deal size for us.
That's awesome. And then Ryan chimes in with, could not agree more with that. The cost of making the wrong sales hire can be catastrophic, not just the money you pay them and the resources committed to onboarding and training, but the cost of lost revenue that would have been generated in that seat, especially where you got your high producers. And then Ryan says, shout out to Dan Bigelow and Jake Alba at Sandler. So it must be some good folks there. And then he also says, the LeBron, I got you, LeBron James probably, Josh Brown is the man. So very, very cool there. So you've been awesome. It's been really fascinating, great business that you built, and can't wait to see your continued success. Thanks to Phone Ready Leads for being the sponsor of today. And for those that are members of Sales Community, thanks. For those that are not, feel free to join. You can go to the site and see the link, Spring Free, or Tucker had posted in the beginning that link. And next week we have, it'll be episode 123, Kimberly Dieter from LinkedIn. So awesome perspectives there from LinkedIn. And the title will be Selling in Economic Uncertainty. That'll be Tuesday, May 2nd at 11 a.m. East. So Gabe, awesome, great company, great business. Look forward to your continued success. And for those that have watched and followed today, great. And Tucker, as always, will kind of slice and dice and kind of share this across the social media galaxy. So
thanks
so much, Gabe.